Shout out to the ones catching the playback. Black Horseman here. Just doing this quick recap video. Andy Cruz got his first title shot. He took on Raymond Murataya, and both are undefeated going into this fight. Cruz had only about 6 fights though, and he's another Cuban fighter who's very skillful. A lot of us who watch the sport of boxing, the Cuban pedigree is quite familiar, where you know that these guys are going to be very, very skillful, athletic, and you can, see how they have been very, very successful in the amateur aspect of it, and see how it translates into the pro, because they know how to rack up points and things like that. But this guy Andy Cruz, man, I caught wave of him early on because of the simple fact of the Keyshawn Davis, the noise that was being made between those two, and how Keyshawn Davis was supposed to be the next one, but he lost in the Olympics to Andy Cruz, maybe twice in the Olympics, if I'm not mistaken. No, maybe just once, but I know he lost 4 times in total to Andy Cruz. And Andy Cruz was basically using that as a marketing scheme for him, that Keyshawn Davis is his son, and so whatever y'all thinking about Keyshawn Davis, go ahead and add that times 2 or 3 to me, because I've whooped him easily. He's my son. And so a lot of people, it kind of made me look at Andy Cruz like, well, maybe he might be something, because they fast tracking him, and Eddie Hearn believes in him. Matchroom, he's worked with Bozy in his boots, so I seen what how they was trying to do. He getting the Philly look, coaching and stuff like that. So I just wanted to see how it would translate for him in the pros, and he was doing well. Then he gets into this fight with Raymond Murataya, and what I noticed about Cruz is this. It's the same thing I've noticed with other Cuban boxers. They get to a level where they fight their way to the title shot, but right as that opportunity is being presented, where they're about to make the big money, they're about to get the belt, if they're victorious, you start to see them start to embrace this celebrity appeal. Like, they want to get real flashy, start wearing the jewelry, I'll be noticing a demeanor change. I just felt like my humble opinion is the spotlight shifts the focus a little bit for Cuban boxers. He's not the first person I've seen. For example, I seen this with David Morrell Jr. I felt like same thing, very skillful dude. Everybody had a lot of promise and confidence that he was going to do this and do that. A lot of them thought he was going to even beat David Benavidez. And what I saw him going into that fight, he was real confident, but he wanted to be real flashy and want to embrace being a celebrity, and being in front of the cameras. And I just felt like that's kind of a flaw in a lot of these Cuban boxers that I've seen over time. I think they lose focus and they start to get caught up in being somebody now. Coming from nothing, actually getting your opportunity. Now you're more concerned about the flashy lights and being around superstars and stuff like that. And that's my opinion about Andy Cruz, man. I think he kind of got caught up in the hype of it. Like, yeah, I'm better than Keyshawn, so, I'm up there. If y'all talking about Keyshawn, then that's my name is up there next to him. you know, because y'all know what I did to him. Then, you know, you got the superstar promoter, Eddie Hearn. Then you got, you know, this, you're Cuban with all these skills. But there's a blueprint on how to beat a lot of these Cuban boxers. And I've seen Cuban boxers have a lot of issues with Mexican boxers. A lot of them, especially the Mexican boxers that are very relentless. You know, apply a lot of pressure, and is not going nowhere. Not being tricked out by all of the flashy stuff you're doing and switching stances. And Andy Cruz was trying different stuff in there, man, to try to disrupt the game plan and pressure that Remy Muataya was applying in there. But once again, we're talking about someone who's trained by Garcia. And one thing I do know is Garcia has seen probably almost every style that to be seen out there. You know, when you're talking about Floyd Mayweather to the Broners to the whoever, man, anybody that they've said that has the most skillful or whatever type style, I have seen Robert Garcia cook up game plans to, you know, disrupt all of that shit. You know, how Madonna did Broner, man, that was Robert Garcia be coming up with some brilliant game plans, and be getting these victories, man. And a lot of people be doubting him, and I talked about that last year, you know, in the beginning part of December about, like, you know, who the trainer of the year should be. And I've always, you know, it seemed like after every year, Robert Garcia is up on the list. I'm just be like, man, dog, this dude, no matter what, keeps coming up with game plans and having champions, man. You know, but I'll tell you this, man. Andy Cruz struggled. It wasn't enough for for him to beat the champion. I think it was a close competitive fight, but I think that, you know, when it comes to Andy Cruz, man, he don't have it's just like, I felt like he was just too small. He didn't have the power to gain the respect from the champ, and it just wasn't, you know, the rounds was too close, man. The rounds was too close. And then in the rounds that's close like that, you know, when you got the champ, he's landing clean body shots, he's backing you up the whole time. Yeah, you landing nice little jabs here and there, getting your combinations off, but it was just like, wasn't really being effective at all on Murataya. And Murataya, man, he did a good job cutting the ring off on Andy Cruz and not allowing Andy Cruz to be comfortable. And that was the good thing. You know, he allowed himself to, you know, he executed his game plan. So Robert Garcia, you know, along with Remy Muataya, they get another dub, man. They get this W. Andy Cruz, man, I don't expect a whole lot from here, man. You know, he can get his focus off Keyshawn or whatever and just get back to, you know, and focus on actually being the best that you can be. But like I said, I've just seen the flaw in a lot of these Cuban boxers, that once they get to the top, it's hard for them to remain there. And speaking about remaining there, I think the only remaining champ that's Cuban is probably Erislandy Lara, that middleweight. 42 years old. You know, that's what they state on Wikipedia, but I don't know. I think he older. I met the nigga, man, at the Mikey Garcia Lipinets fight. That nigga older than that. He was 42 then, I think. But either way, that's it. That's it left for Cuba right now, man. There's Erislandy Lara holding it down. You know, I may be missing somebody at the lower flyweight weight class or something. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing, man. It's been tough. It's been a tough struggle for Cuban boxers. And, you know, Eddie Hearn took a gamble. You know, I think, you know, he had a lot of confidence. And rightfully so, based on what he did to the likes of Keyshawn Davis. Because Keyshawn is he's talented. very talented. So to beat Keyshawn 4 times, I can understand. You know. Shout out to my peoples in here. We got Charles, Modern King Boxing. Running them amateur wins in the dirt. Too soon for Cruz. Yeah, shout out to Ill Status, man. That was the gamble, in the sense for Eddie Hearn. Pushing this guy so quick. I don't know why he was in a rush to make him champ. I don't know. I think Eddie Hearn been having to struggle too with keeping these champions champ. I mean, shout out to Dalton Smith. Beat Supreme Matias recently. But there's been a lot of his champs been falling off. He says, I looked at Cruz and I was asking myself, where's the pop and them paws, man? Yeah. Yeah, he said 55. Holding on for the Cuban culture, man. Arizona D. Lord, man. Trying to put on, man. Representing, dog. Ball spots and all, homie. Receiving lineup, all that. Ain't nobody, these young ones ain't getting it cracking, bro. They're not getting it done, man. As soon as they get a choker chain or something, Cuban link or whatever, now they want to change up. They want to be in there being flashy and smiling. That be the thing. They be worried about how they looking more than performing and executing the game plan, in my opinion. So they probably looking incredible. Andy Cruz probably looking incredible in the gym. Sparring with boots and all that, probably looking amazing. Then the bright lights and all the people staring at him, TV cameras and shit. Now you in there posturing, smiling, and getting pieced up. And a lot of these, a lot of them rounds was close, and he would be walking back to the corner after the round, raising his hand up, like, bro, you don't even know if you won that round. Put your hand down, man. You know what I'm saying? Judges not worried about that shit. They scoring punches, bro, not you putting your hand up at the end of the round. Stay focused. Sit your ass down. Then they be having, they be thinking they special. They get the Allen Iverson type style braids and shit. Cool little unit for the, to walk in or whatever, and they just be out of there, man. Space cadets. So Andy Cruz, man, it's already, and that's the gamble too. When you take these fights too early, see, too old to be a professional. It's gonna take some time. Hey, that be the other thing too, man. Think about the Cruz, man. See, he got about 7 years. Yeah, man. That be the thing though. When you take this gamble, you try to take the fast track, and you only have 6 fights, like in Andy Cruz situation. Look, you took the gamble and lost. Now your record look weak. 7-1. Like, this nigga had 8 fights, he already got an L. I mean, even though you fought a champ, but it just looked trash. Like, I remember when Lomachenko was trying to be on that fast track and he fought, what was the nigga that kept hitting him in the nuts, I think, and low blows and shit? Orlando, Salido, was it Salido, some shit? Anyway, man, when he lost, though, it was just like, it was looking weak. Like, nigga, 4-1. Look at that weak ass shit. You 3-1 or whatever. So, yeah, you got to win them shits, man. If you're going to take them tough fights early on, you got to get beyond that 10-fight stretch. Otherwise, your record be looking hella weak. I'll be down walking around here on 5-1 or some shit. That shit just look trash. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you got to get over the 10s. You got to get to the teens before any L's can even appear, man. Because them 2s and fews, that's a no-go. You can't lose early like that. Yeah, Salido, Charles. Appreciate it. Yeah, Orlando Salido. He might be still fighting in Tijuana or some shit, for all we damn know. I think last thing I heard, he was selling packs of cigarettes on the low. Something like that. Don't quote me. But yeah, man, for the most part, Andy Cruz, man, I don't know, man, get a little slicker or something, man. I don't know if Philly is that Philly connect is really what it is, man. Maybe you need a trainer change. That's what a lot of these dudes doing anyway. As soon as they take a L, they regroup. They fire everybody, man. Some of these dudes not even losing. They just changing shit just because, man. Keyshawn Davis missed weight and fired Bud Crawford, Bo Mack, and all of them, man. Bernie, he's like, man, I'm out of here, man. I miss weight. And from what I heard, it's all because they exposed the nigga. It's about nigga, he was just nervous. Nigga was nervous. That's why he didn't make weight. That nigga could have made weight. I'm like, damn. Scared business, man. Yeah, man. But anyway, man, to me, Andy Cruz ain't all that, man. I think he was trying to be flashy, trying to adapt a little shit he learned from Boots, man. I'm just like, how did this? I ain't trying to be negative, man, because there's a lot of Boots supporters. But I'm just like, man, this nigga ain't really accomplished shit to be trying to be somebody's coach. All of a sudden, he's just somebody's premier coach. You know, I mean, I understand Bud's retired, 3-time undisputed, 5-weight class. I understand Bud getting out here and showing niggas. But my nigga, you got a lot of work to do before you out here trying to show dudes to guide niggas to the promised land. You ain't even got there yet. So this be strange. Jose says Keyshawn would have whooped him. I don't know how people were saying Keyshawn is scared of Andy. I don't know, man. I mean, the scare shit might be that Edward De Los Santos shit, but I don't know about that Andy Cruz work. Andy don't look like he big enough to deal with that weight class, man. It just don't look like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, maybe go back down. Maybe go back down and weight, something like that. But speaking of Keyshawn though, Jose, I did see that clip with Keyshawn celebrating of Andy Cruz losing. That's just some corny cornball type shit right there, bro. That is corny, man. Keyshawn better be all 100% focused for Jermaine Ortiz. I know he's good at bringing attention to himself and all that, and he might just be doing it just to get clicks. I get all that, but man, I'll tell you one thing: if this fool loses Jermaine Ortiz, dog, this man is gonna get fish fried, bro. Barbecue, charcoal grill, homie. Like, you better make sure, bro, after the shit that you coming off of, which is missing weight, you fucking fought Nazir Albright after he whooped your brother's ass, so you made a fool out of yourself and your brothers and Virginia, Then you want to come back with all this God stuff. Okay, cool. But, let's just see if God is with you when you get on the scale. And let's see if God is with you when you fight Jermaine Ortiz, bro. Because this shit that you doing, bro, this shit just looking weak, bro. Keyshawn is I get it, and I think he's 100% embracing his villain role. He's just trying to take it on 100%, I guess. But when you lose, bro, you know what's gonna happen. You could take that route, but you have to win. You cannot lose, sir. Because if you lose, man, it's over for you. It's really a wrap. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll definitely see, man. Jermaine Ortiz has a chance to shut that man up. But Keyshawn can't fight. So I'm going to watch the fight. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of his fighting ability. But when I see red flags or yellow flags, caution, I'm going to speak up and say, like, yeah, I've seen this before. Stay on track, young man, or you could be next. You don't want to be the next meme. You got some good highlights, Keyshawn, but you don't want to be one of those highlights, on the wrong side of the equation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, speaking back on what's up, Lance? Oh, he said Salido got arrested for stealing a case of beer last I heard. Yeah, so maybe that's what it was. Yeah, man. Tough times you out here stealing Corona, or whatever, man. Probably trying to get a few Bud Lights for Tio and shit. Who knows? But yeah, man, that's all I got for this one, man. Another Cuban get his ass whooped, man. Another Cuban hype job, in my opinion. Can he bounce back? Yes. Will he? I don't know. Maybe if he goes down in weight. I don't think if he stays at this weight, he's gonna be that successful, man. I think if he rematches Remy Muay, if he ever get that opportunity back or something to rematch Muay, I think he'll lose again. I think Robert Garcia gonna cook up another good game plan, and Muay just gonna pick up where he left off, man. You know, knocking them fucking braids loose, man. Stealing Modelo's, sis Charles. My bad. It was Modelo's, man. Corona's one of them shits, man. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, he probably getting fucked up right now. Anyway, shout out to Salito. Shout out to the ones who caught the playback too, man. I'm Black Horseman. Hopefully you have a good day. Hopefully y'all stay warm, man. Since temperatures is dropping all over the goddamn place, man. So stay warm, man. Hopefully y'all got power. You know what I mean? Heat cracking. You know what I mean? In y'all households, man. Because some people have lost power out here. So be grateful. We on to the next, man. Outie.